And really that's what coaching is all about. It's another tool to stay accountable and somebody else to have a fresh set of eyes on what you're doing and saying, hey, like, I've had people say, can't you just put together a meal plan for me? Tell me what to eat. No, we're going to come up with tools that you can tell yourself what to eat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 13 of I Think I Can podcast. Today, I have with me Elizabeth Resnik, who is a 55-year-old double certified health coach and author who loves teaching women of all ages to love their bodies and their lives. Happy, Healthy, and Hot is a unique combination of mindset, nutrition, and fitness that works. And I love that name. Elizabeth's clients achieve much more than weight loss. They report increased confidence, better energy, and an overall vitality that they never even anticipated. Elizabeth coaches clients all over the US and has started branching out internationally, which is great for us, considering I'm from Canada. She has been featured on TV, numerous podcasts, and in 2020 was a finalist in the Maxim Cover Girl competition. I want you to follow Elizabeth on Instagram at Happy, Healthy, and Hot Elizabeth and grab a copy of the Happy, Healthy, and Hot journal on Amazon. So welcome, Elizabeth. So nice to have you here today.
Thank you, Luella. I am so excited to be here.
Okay, so of course, I mean, it's a very common question to start off, but I always want to ask someone, how did you get into the health and fitness space? What led you there?
Well, it's been a health, like nutrition and fitness has been a passion of mine most of my life. And I came about it very naturally. I was born in the 60s, but my mom was always really into nutrition. We shopped in health food stores back when they were kind of dusty, dingy places. There wasn't like Whole Foods or anything like that back then. We were in some type of co-op to buy fresh produce back when grocery stores mostly sold frozen stuff. I had a grandmother who lived on a 100-acre farm where I spent a lot of time as a child. She was growing her own, had a garden, growing her own produce. So yeah, I did kind of come by this naturally, but it's always been an interest of mine. But I would say for me, it was always kind of just about being fit and looking good. Mm-hmm. And that was really the kind of what it was to me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later that I got more into the whole mindset and also the whole feeling good idea and how this all ties in together. So that was something that really came much later in my life. I'll just say it's really been a journey. But what actually got me into this space as, what I do,
coach,
it's been a long time coming. So it was something that I was always interested back in my, in my teens, as I was thinking about college. I actually thought about studying nutrition, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because I would have ended up with like an RD or something.
Exactly.
Not my thing. So I ended up studying more business management, went into HR, did a number of things, and then was home with kids for 19 years. It was after that I decided I just wanted to do something with this. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I really didn't envision myself coaching people, but I wanted to educate and inspire. Mm-hmm. So my idea was just to have a blog. I just wanted to have a voice. And then, as we all do, we always think we're not ready to do something. There's a fear.
Right.
So I thought, well, if I have some credentials, then people might listen. At the end of the day, I could have just started.
Exactly.
But I was dragging my feet. So I enrolled in IIN, Institute of Integrative Nutrition, back in 2014. That was my first health coaching certification. And when I was finished with that, which was really about being a health coach, but I was just doing it for the nutrition background. When I was done with that, and that's what really got me more into some of the mindset stuff also, I said, okay, I've got it. It's now or never. And I started a website and blog. And then from there, kind of dipped my toe into Instagram. And then people started asking, like, hey, I want to coach with you. So I was like, oh, okay. I hadn't really intended on coaching people, but that's just, and then it just kind of took off. Okay. So, and what I do, it works. So I get my message across because I keep things so simple.
Well, you know what, like, I just want to ask, I usually ask right in the beginning and I forgot, I got too into this, but like, would the whole mindset of, I think I can, is that related at all to what you just said? I mean, is there a certain time in your life where you kind of thought, oh, but then when you really put your mind to it, when you set your mind on an intention, it became your reality. Would this health coaching journey be part of that, or is that something else in your life?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah. I had this vision of, I want to educate and inspire. Mm-hmm. And I think I didn't see it as big as it's becoming, is really, right. But I had this vision of using the internet to teach. I really never expected to see myself on video and doing all the things that I'm doing. I was kind of hiding behind my keyboard. I just wanted to write and post some pictures, and that was it. But that was my vision. But even that, I didn't even know the first step to take. And so your whole idea, I think I can. What I always say to people is, you have this idea but you don't know how. Yes. I think I can, but like, how am I going to get there?
Right.
It's taking one step, and then that leads to another and another and another. And I will say also, to be so true to your vision, without airing a lot of dirty laundry, I'll just say that there was somebody in my life that was extremely discouraging of this vision, mm-hmm. to educate and inspire women, mm-hmm. to take charge of their health, that you're going to love your body and your life. And I was, mm-hmm. really, like, honestly ridiculed. So yeah, that, and I don't know if that added fuel to my fire, but it showed me also that the vision, it's my vision, and to learn to, stay in your lane, only share your vision, only share this thing that you think you can do with the right people, with the people that will support you, and not the people that are going to say, well, how are you going to do that? Well, what are you, you're crazy. Because I didn't know. I didn't know. No. But I just started taking steps. I didn't know how to build a website. I didn't know anything about social media. I wasn't even on Facebook. So I didn't know how to do any of this. I'm the least techie person in the world. And I didn't know how to do any of this. And so my first pictures on my website were taken with a cracked iPhone 6 that was propped up on a carton of almond milk. And I set the timer. So that is how I started. Yeah. And, so it's, yes, if you think you can, you can. You absolutely can. And if you think you can't, you can't.
I love that, Elizabeth. Like, get rid of the baggage, get rid of the old stories that, just aren't true at all, aren't true. And you set your goal, you set your intention, and you don't worry about how to get there. You know that you're going to get there. That's all you have to think about and focus on, and just let the rest just naturally happen. And that's exactly what happened for you.
Yeah. And it's so interesting that you take that one action step, whatever that is, and then one step, it leads to another, and it leads to another and another. And, and sometimes, and you might veer off a little bit. Right. The path is generally not straight, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're also, your point of, thank goodness I didn't enroll in, a 4-year degree or a 6-year degree, a master's of, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not necessary for like following the type of passion and the type of work that you want. But you are doubly certified. So that's interesting. So tell me a little bit about that. Why did you get doubly certified as a health coach?
Okay. Well, again, that wasn't, what I ever thought of doing in the beginning, but I had a great time at IIN. And again, so much was opened up to me about the mind body connection and everything else. But I'm somebody that always wants to be learning and growing on so many levels. And the whole ancestral health thing has always really spoken to me. And again, it's really about.
What does that mean exactly, Elizabeth? Like for my listeners, what is an ancestral?
Okay, great question. Well, so a lot of people would think of this, like we hear the term paleo.
Yeah.
And again, then we're giving ourselves a label. Even to me, ancestral health is giving a little bit of a label that I like to avoid. I'm really just about let's eat real food.
Yeah.
But I was, the whole biology behind this and what were our ancestors doing before they had all these processed foods. And one book that really inspired me was written back in the 1940s, called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. I am not telling your listeners to run out and buy this book and read it. It's extremely wordy and not what, but it inspired me to see that, when people are eating the food that's closest to nature and unprocessed, they're thriving. That's just that bottom line message here. So anyway, so then my second health coaching certification was with Primal Blueprint. And that got a lot more sciencey for me, but was really, really interesting. It reinforced everything that I already knew. Okay. So is it necessary? Was it necessary to be double certified? No, but that was part of just my hunger for knowledge.
Yeah. And, part of your journey, like it's just, and like we like, I'm a real believer in things happen for a reason. And I think, that probably led you down other paths that, made you the type of coach you are today. And it's just like an adjunct to what you already have. And, little pearls of information that I'm sure you use on a daily basis that you never, thought of before. So
absolutely.
I know there's something in your story about skin, and that was okay. So I want to touch on that a little bit. Like, what was going on with your skin, and your vitality? Like, let's get into that.
Okay, let's get into that. That is a huge part of my health journey, and yes, it is about vanity, but it's interesting that so many other things happened along the way. So as I said, I've always been interested in health and nutrition, and came by it very naturally. Around the age of 11 or 12, I became a vegetarian. The rest of my family was not.
Okay.
And my parents, were like, fine, then you got to handle this yourself. Question.
Can I ask you though, that surprises me because I'm just a couple years or maybe even 1 year younger than you. And like, that was not even, if someone asked me at 11 or 12, what a vegetarian,
it wasn't a thing.
I would say it's a plant or something. I would have no idea.
I still can't believe I was and for me, it came out of really a love of animals. But then also I was, as I started to do the research and there wasn't much out there, the main book was Diet for a Small Planet, maybe. So I read a lot. It was all about combining beans and grains and all this stuff. And I learned a lot about it and educated myself. There weren't all the processed, fake meats and everything out there back then. No. So, I really embraced this and it became part of my identity. And I have nothing, again, such respect for vegetarians and vegans. But so I was vegetarian, sometimes vegan later in life from puberty till my early 40s. That's a really long time. At times I was pescatarian and adding some fish in. And again, this is a lot of labels. But so during all of this time, and I'm not blaming being a vegetarian on this by any means, I suffered from acne, severe cystic acne, chronic cystic acne. I was on every topical, every antibiotic. I finally went on Accutane when I was in high school, when it was first approved by the FDA. Had horrible side effects, but stuck it out. It did clear up my skin temporarily. Liver damage, got mono afterwards, all kinds of things. Severe dryness, all these things, but it cleared up my skin. So I was like, yay. And then it came back. I actually was on Accutane again after my daughter was born, so in my mid-30s. Did so many things in between. The acne always came back. And I was like, what is wrong? Like, and that was all that I wanted to look good. So weight was never really an issue for me.
No.
I've always worked at, I've always
Yeah.
kept on top of that. But my skin was so broken out. And there were two other things that I dealt with, but that I just thought were part of who I was. And that was always having some type of digestive issue. Always. I just thought that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my 20s, started developing some anxiety that kept getting, that got worse and worse. And some of that was environmental.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things I'm dealing with, but the one that's bothering the most is my skin. So long story short, after trying everything, and homeopathic medicines, like all the things, I was not going to go on Accutane a fourth time. I had seen something by Dr. Mercola on clearing. It was a very small study done where, and it wasn't on women my age. I was in my 40s by now, but might have been on adolescent boys. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it was, they clear their acne, cutting out grains, dairy, and sugar. Now, at this point, I was hardcore vegan. So I was not having any dairy. But there were a whole lot of grains. They were soaked and sprouted and all the things, but I was having a whole lot of grains. And I was like, oh, I'm not having sugar, but I was, in the form of a lot of dried fruits and things like that. So I cut out the grains and you cut way back on the fruit, just eating a little bit of fresh fruit. And I had to start adding something back into my diet. So I started with eggs. I just needed some other food.
Yeah.
Since I wasn't having all the grains. And so long story short, cutting these inflammatory foods out of my diet, Luella, when I tell you my skin changed overnight, my skin felt differently within 24 hours. My face stopped hurting. My face would literally hurt. I covered this up really well with makeup, but like I would have it, I would get a recurring cyst right here, which I think is tied to your liver. Chin, I would get these sometimes here on my nose. Like I still have some scarring. I could feel the pressure going down. Literally the inflammation was leaving my body. Within a month, I had no new breakouts. And I was like, this is amazing. Within a few months after that, all of a sudden I'm like, wow, the anxiety is not where it was.
Interesting.
And my digestion I'm no longer in pain. I'm no longer bloated. I was like skinny, but with a big belly.
Yeah, like you look pregnant.
Yes, exactly. Like I was too skinny almost, because I was like not having the strength to work out,
Right.
And but I always looked a little bloated. So all these things changed by removing these foods that were inflammatory for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really became passionate about sharing this message, not even specifically about clearing up your skin, but just that, we can take charge of our health. And the skin was a big one for me, because I just wanted people to know, like, this, you don't need to buy, like, yeah, there's great natural skincare out there. And believe me, I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I changed my skin from the inside out.
Yes.
And now, sure, I use the best stuff on the outside too. And then I just got really passionate as I cleared my skin by getting rid of these inflammatory foods. Then I got really passionate about, well, what can I add in that's going to be even better for my skin? And I love to talk about my sexy skin foods, because it's really, there's, really some foods that are, it's not just getting the inflammatory stuff out. There's foods that really helped my skin get even better. So,
okay,
yeah,
well,
so that,
let's talk about that a little bit. And I also want to know a little bit about your natural skin care. Like you're saying, you don't have to spend tons of money, because it's really from the inside out. It's mostly about food, but your skin looks great. And if anybody wants to see Elizabeth, just go to my YouTube channel and you're going to be able to see how beautiful she looks.
Thank you.
But yeah, let's talk about the sexy foods and in the external skincare.
Absolutely. Okay. So my sexy skin foods. And again, everybody we're all bio individuals.
Yes.
So
exactly.
Maybe one of these foods might not agree with somebody. I feel like, what works for, you, but my sexy skin foods, number one, fresh lemon. I start every day. In fact, there's lemon water in here. Fresh lemon juice is so amazing. Brightens the skin, again, from the inside out. We know it's amazing for our immune system. And vitamin C supports the production of new collagen, which is what keeps our skin firm.
Yeah.
So right there, fresh lemon juice. And this is something my grandmother, who lived to be 104
Whoa.
and had 104, I kid you not, almost 105, and had beautiful skin, swore by fresh lemon juice.
Okay.
Now, she was putting a lot of sugar in it, making fresh lemonade every day, but she was getting that fresh lemon.
Yeah.
So my number one sexy skin food, fresh lemon. Number two, leafy greens. Just mixing up and getting some fresh leafy greens in. It's so easy. I always tell people, if you're not used to this, start with like baby organic spinach. It's so mild. But then if every week you just grab something different, maybe one week make it arugula, you can just mix it up. But these are so easy, whether you blend them in a smoothie, just make a salad, stir them into your eggs. Fresh leafy greens are loaded with antioxidants. And by mixing it up, you're getting different things. You're just getting all that nutrition, and again, so low in
nothing.
So low in calories, very, very nutrient dense.
Yeah.
Number three, this surprises a lot of people, and there is science behind this for me to tell you. Like I couldn't tell you where the study was done or anything like that, but I always say eat a daily raw organic carrot. I eat a raw organic carrot almost every day. I buy a big bag of them, keep them in the fridge, literally just rinse one off and eat it like while I'm cooking my breakfast. You want to eat it with the skin on. So there is something about these carrots, and specifically it's a fiber that's found close to the skin, that helps balance hormones in both men and women. I know for women, it specifically helps remove the excess estrogen, like the junk estrogen that a lot of us have. So I can tell you what it did for me specifically. So balancing hormones is great for our skin. What it did for me, I started doing this in my mid 40s. I'd seen a functional MD. And I know one of the things I mentioned to her was, hey, my menstrual cycle is changing. And I'm getting my periods. The cycle is getting a lot shorter. And she said, well, that's your age. You're approaching menopause, right? Like this is normal. And I said, okay, well, I don't know that I'm in any rush to go through menopause. So I had read about this carrot thing. I thought, well, what have I got to lose? So I just started eating a raw carrot every day, sometimes two. And after, it didn't happen overnight by any means, but after a few months of this, I noticed that my cycle was getting a little longer.
Interesting.
I kept doing it. By the time I've been doing the daily raw carrot for a year, again, this didn't happen overnight, I was back on a perfect 28-day cycle like clockwork. And this continued until my early 50s. Yeah. And I hit menopause, I think like 53 is when it ended. So I was told around 44, 45, well, this is it. Yeah. Nope. Wow. Ate a raw carrot every day. I'm telling you that is, and just kept adding in all these good foods, but that raw carrot, there is something to it. So number 3, sexy skin food, daily raw carrot. Okay. Number 4, I always say berries, just loaded with antioxidants, lower in sugar than most fruits, because too much sugar can be problematic. And when you see those dark, intense pigments, you are getting some good stuff. Plus they're good. They're indulgent. They're a treat. Food should be fun. It's not just about putting nutrition into our body. It's about things that taste good and we enjoy. Yeah. Yeah. So that would be number 4. Number 5 would be healthy fats. I think that that's something that a lot of people miss out on. Fat is so essential for glowing skin. When you think that our cell membranes are made up of fat, so we want to be putting the best, highest quality fat we can into our body and not these crappy processed seed oils. So, whether it's avocado, good extra virgin olive oil, ghee, coconut oil, these really safe, stable oils. So healthy fats, so important for glowing skin. And they're also just helping us say, our brains too.
Right, so exactly. Good point.
That's good too. Number 6, which kind of ties in with number 5, but is the fatty fish. Salmon, I'm also really big on sardines. Nobody wants to hear about that, but nobody wants to eat sardines, but they are so good for you.
Well,
So with the fat,
wait, how do you prepare? Like, what do you do with them? Just
well,
give
I
us an
can eat,
idea. How do you incorporate
okay.
sardines?
Well, I can literally open up a can and eat them out of the can, but I'm super
Okay.
specific. So you want to get, if you want them to taste good, you want to get them, the lightly smoked ones are a good place to start. You want to make sure they are packed in something clean like olive oil.
Okay.
Most of the sardines you buy at the grocery store are packed in crappy seed oils, cottonseed, soybean, things like that. Stay away. Can I name a brand that I like?
Sure, of course.
Okay. Wild Planet, and I have no affiliation with them, but that's a good brand that their sardines really taste good.
Yeah.
So I can literally open up a can and eat them out of the can, but it didn't start out that way. I will usually just put them on top of a salad.
Yeah.
It's just great quick protein. Or just a bowl of, I love to make bowls for lunch, like just leftover veggies and just top it with whatever protein I have on hand.
Yeah.
So the reason I say fatty fish doesn't, again, doesn't have to be sardines. Salmon is what most people are more comfortable with, is it is a great mix of protein, which we all need. And I find most women are not getting enough protein, these healthy fats, and then also vitamins A and D, these fat soluble vitamins that we're just not getting enough of. And fish is such a great bioavailable source. The vitamin A, getting it from beta carotene in your veggies, not everybody processes that right. So you're not always getting all the vitamin A you think you're getting from the, even from the carrot or whatever.
Right.
So to get this from a source like fish is so bioavailable. And those vitamin A and D are so essential for skin health. And then my number 7 sexy skin food, which I guess in some ways I could have done this backwards, probably my number 1 that I have been talking about for the past, 7 years, since as long as I've been using it, is collagen peptides. Just stirring a scoop or 2 of collagen peptides into your coffee or tea or smoothie or whatever. I like to do it first thing in the morning, so now I'm getting it. That has literally, that was, if I could do, it's such a no-brainer thing because it takes no effort. When I first started using the collagen, again, about 7 years ago, I did it specifically for my skin. I was hearing, it could help firm up your skin, but there's so many other benefits. I noticed a difference in about a month. I noticed by my 30s, like this area starts to feel a little, soft. And I was just like, again, everyone's like, oh, that's just part of getting older. I'm like, I'm 37. Like, I don't want to deal with this. I noticed that. So I started the collagen in my 40s. I could feel this getting firmer. It's amazing for your nails. And then it's good for the connective tissues all over your body. So the collagen contains, back when we were truly eating nose to tail, eating the whole animal, we wouldn't have needed to supplement with collagen peptides because we were getting plenty of that in the bone broths and things like that. But most of us are eating, if we are eating animal products, and some people aren't, but animal protein, people are eating like the chicken breast, stuff like that. And they're getting that muscle meat, and they're not getting this, they're not getting all of these amino acids. So it's, collagen peptides contain amino acids that we're not generally getting in our food. Yeah. And that are doing all, that are helping us produce more collagen.
Yeah. So, and it's also a source of protein. So
yes, exactly.
I was just thinking, because I know, I don't know, I find especially there's a lot of women that say, oh, I can't do breakfast in the morning. I just don't do breakfast. So I guess blending it in your coffee would be a good source of protein there. Yeah.
Yes. And I am a breakfast eater. I love breakfast, but I don't eat breakfast first thing. So when I first get up, I do the collagen in my coffee and sometimes throw in some other stuff too.
Tell us.
Today I had collagen peptides. So I brewed some 4 Sigmatic coffee, the mushroom coffee that has the, I love the Think blend that has lion's mane in it because that really helps me focus. I add a little additional focus blend from 4 Sigmatic because I just love the way I feel on this stuff. I also added a spoonful of a cacao and maca blend. I don't do that every single day, but just really like that. It adds a nice flavor. Maca is a great adaptogen. And then I added just a little spoonful of coconut oil and I blended it all up in my NutriBullet. And then that keeps me going for for hours.
Hours. Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one thing, like like it's almost like you don't need to eat lunch. Like you're almost too, but that's not a good thing either though, right? Like, I'm just like, I mean, for some women it's like, oh, no, that'd be great. Like I don't have to worry about lunch. But I mean, I mean, you do need to get a certain number of calories and
Right.
food in a day. Like that's my
exactly.
concern.
Exactly. And that's a valid concern. But I think as we start listening to our bodies, it starts to fall into place. And the more we eat real food, our body wants real food. And different things work for different people. I say, like, stop doing shit you hate. So it's like some women want to do the intermittent fasting, some don't. Like it works for some people, not for others. So I feel like once you're eating real food, your body starts to tell you what it needs. And when you're focusing on this, really nutrient dense food, some people do great not eating for hours and hours and hours, and they like to sit down and enjoy maybe 2 meals a day. Others would rather graze a little bit. And I don't think there's a right or wrong. I will say the danger, so to speak, in the grazing that I've seen women do is they underestimate what they're eating and they eat. They pick it too much.
Yeah.
So, my eating patterns sometimes change just depending on what I have going on that day and what feels good to me.
Yeah.
But I had I was working with a client who, was grazing on very healthy things, but was not losing the weight. She was not at a weight she wanted to be at. And I said, let's just start writing down everything that you're putting into your mouth, keeping yourself honest. And it turns out she was just consuming more than she thought because she was always just picking at things.
Right.
So that's where it's not a one size, nothing is a one size fits all ever. But that's why and that's actually why why I came up with this journal. I had always encouraged my clients, and I do it myself, to keep yourself honest. Literally pen to paper, write down what you're eating. I mean, some people use apps and that's fine. I think there's something very valuable about writing stuff down. So and it's really eye-opening. You don't need to be tracking all your macros. You can, but that stuff gets exhausting. But just to really keep yourself honest, first of all, it makes you think, oh, do I want to write down that I had 5 handfuls of chocolate chips this afternoon? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you're going to stop at the first handful. Nothing against chocolate. I love it. But it just helps you see what you're doing. And then you can look back. In my journal, I put in a weekly check-in, which has been the biggest thing for me, to look back. It kind of forces you to look back at what you did the previous week, celebrate what's working, and also say, wow, what can I change? Oh, look, isn't that interesting? And you start to see patterns. When I ate this, the next day I was lethargic, or notice how I didn't sleep well. The more, what you focus on expands, but if you pay attention to what you're putting into your body, you can see these patterns, and you can, let's keep doing the stuff that's working, and let's change the stuff that's not.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I say that to my clients too. If you don't write it down, it's not real. And it's really true. All these things that you want to do or plan to do, or even with this podcast, like I write a weekly blog too, or at least I try to. But it's something that I had in my mind for a long time. And then, so I thought, okay, I'm just going to put it in my blog and announce it. And that way I have to hold true to it. Right. It was like,
yes. That's so good.
Yeah. So tell me about your journal. Tell me about your journal.
Yes, absolutely. So, it was definitely an inspired action. So it's interesting that I have always wanted to write a book. And I have many book ideas in my head that will happen. I'm telling you now. Good. So they've got to happen. But definitely, but I really, I always had this vision of a book, it changed over time, but that would really walk people through these steps. So this journal came about because I've been journaling for years and years and years. Not the health stuff, not just that, but writing out affirmations, goals, gratitude lists, all of that stuff. And I was always encouraged, and part that mindset stuff I love to encourage clients on as well. And then I'm also tracking my nutrition because I still write down what I eat, but I was using little index cards, scraps of paper, notes in my phone, whatever. And I was encouraging my clients too, write this stuff down. Let's talk about this. And suddenly it was like, well, wait, what if I just pull all of this into one place? Because I was looking, there was not a journal that incorporated all of this.
Yeah.
And so I've actually got it right here behind me.
Yeah, great.
So it's a 90-day journal. It's the Happy, Healthy, Not journal, 90 days to love your body and your life, because I really believe we can do that. We want to love our bodies and our lives. Like some people work so hard to get this body that they want, but they're not loving their life because they're not having any fun. Yeah. They're restricting themselves. They're killing themselves at the gym. This is no fun. So I'm all about, let's make this fun. Let's make this easy. So it's 90 days to love your body and your life. You can see the pages are huge. Yes. So there's plenty of room, and it's really divided into 3 sections. Happy, Healthy, and Hot it's not just a cute name. It's actually mindset, nutrition, and fitness. So happy is the mindset, healthy is the nutrition, and hot is the fitness, and also just the confidence, the vibe, the confidence, the body confidence, all of it. So that's really each page. You can start any day. You just fill in the date. But each page under happy, you list things you're grateful for, something you're proud of, because I'm big on bragging about yourself. I think women really need to get better at that. Your intention for the day, and an affirmation for the day. And then for healthy, there's just space to track what you eat, because I recognize that no matter what protocol somebody is choosing to follow, they can use this. And then hot is how you moved your body. And then there's space down at the bottom for additional notes. Like if you want to be tracking your weight, how much you slept, whatever. I put in a little quote or tip at the bottom of each page. And then at every 7 days, there is a weekly check-in. So you can talk about like what you did well this week, what could you improve on, and then what's your focus for the week ahead. And so for as much as I've been journaling for years and years and years, this weekly check-in has been a game changer for me. So I fill this journal out every day, and because I want to make sure this stuff, this stuff works. And this weekly check-in has been a game changer for me, because I'm really able to call myself out on things that aren't working. Yeah. And it's, and then you just start noticing little subtle things. Oh, wow, I look a little bloated today. Let me look back and see. Sometimes I'll notice like even a subtle puffiness around my eyes. What did I eat yesterday? Because the more you get in touch with your body and the more you eat real food, then you notice little changes, subtle changes much earlier, and you can get right back on track. It's not about being strict and restrictive. It's saying, isn't that interesting? When I ate out at that restaurant and I had that salad dressing and who knows what's in it, and I have some puffiness around my eyes. No regrets. It tasted great. But now I know to maybe watch that the next time. So you start to notice the subtle things. Yeah. Like, I mean, I do say that too. I feel half of us are walking around nowadays, like in a fog, like just, in daydreaming, sort of like we're going through life, like, not being in the present. And this type of journaling, and I'm a huge fan of journaling as well, is it just kind of makes you, aware of how you're feeling, what you're thinking. I'm feeling a little bit down this weekend. Why is that? Trace it back to the thoughts, and it's always tracing it back. Like, so I really like your weekly check-in. That, that makes a lot of sense. So, I want to ask about your skin regimen routine, but maybe I'll wait, since we're talking about food. Maybe I'll like, what's it? Do you ask women to track their weight? Like, do you? I know, like you said, everybody's different. Yes, so I think this is a great question. Okay. And I personally weigh myself every day. I don't think that that's necessary, but I think for a lot of people, it's a good idea. Now, if somebody has a history of disordered eating and stuff like that, no, maybe this is, no. But for most people, okay, I like to equate it to money. Like most of the women that come to me want to lose weight and how about, they want more energy, they want all these things.
Yeah.
But weight loss is always part of the story.
Yeah, it's huge with women. Yeah.
So if you want more money, say you want to go on vacation and you want to save a certain amount of money, but you never look at what you have in the bank.
Yeah.
Well, then how are you going to do this? So, and the reason I like to weigh, the reason I encourage it daily, if you're going to weigh yourself, do it consistently. But the reason why I think daily is best is because it's also going to let you see, it's going to help you realize, like kind of detach yourself from it a little bit. So if you weigh yourself every single day, like say when you first get up, you're going to see that there are natural fluctuations. So I vary it's about up and down by 3 pounds. It can happen overnight. And it's this way, it's just like, okay. And many times I can see certain things, like I'm aware of some healthy foods that still can make me a little bloated, like cruciferous veggies, for example.
Yeah.
I don't digest them super well. So I'm certainly not going to eat a bunch of Brussels sprouts and have a bikini photo shoot the next morning.
Right.
I know my body too well.
Yeah.
So by doing the daily weigh-in, you see what the natural fluctuations are, so you don't freak out about that. But you also get to see, is there an upward trend or a downward trend? I also like to say, weight is just one of many measurements, but if you do it every day and then you just remind yourself, this is just information. It's not good or bad. This is information.
Right.
So, what am I doing? But if you want to get from point A to point B, there needs to be some type of measurement. And
that's I like what you're saying. Like it could even be a scale that shows a color, and if it's blue, that means, it's going up slightly. If it shows green, it means it's going down slightly. That would actually be like a great way of looking at it. And it's not like you say, because
like it's not, the number isn't good or bad. It's just a piece of it's one of many pieces of information about us. But when people are just saying throw away the scale, pay attention to how your clothes fit. Are you kidding me? They make clothes so stretchy now. Everyone's living in leggings and joggers. Nobody knows.
Good point.
Nobody knows. Yeah. During the whole, beginning of the lockdown back in 2020, I was telling people, I was posting on Instagram, try on your jeans once a week. Yeah. Keep yourself honest. Make sure they still fit.
Yeah.
Like you're living in these pajama pants and you don't know what's going on.
Right.
So, and it's just really easy to get yourself in some kind of a funk that way. So, some of the things that people say, just go by how you feel. Like, yes, of course I want to feel good. That's why I'm doing all of this. But just because my clothes are comfortable isn't necessarily telling me all I need to know.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of your favorite, let's say, morning habits, or like what's a typical like exercise? Let's just talk about movement a little bit with you. Like,
so go ahead.
No. Like it just sort of like, because there's just so many different, suggestions out there, what you should be doing, what you should be doing.
I have, again, I make things so simple.
Okay. But,
here's the perfect workout.
Okay.
Is the one that you're going to do. That is the perfect workout, the one that you're going to do.
Yeah.
So first of all, I work out a lot less than anybody thinks. I really don't work out very much. I do something every day, but it is minimal. It is minimal. So I do every Wednesday at noon Eastern time, I do a live workout on Instagram, and these are saved in my Instagram feed. It is a no equipment workout, and we're done in 10 minutes. And those workouts that I post on Instagram, that is exactly what I do. Most days I don't even do that much. Yeah. So I do have equipment. I haven't used my kettlebell in a long time. I do a lot of just body weight resistance, stuff like that. My old school stuff, planks, push-ups. air squats. I have a signature move that I call the ass burner, but people have to go to my Instagram to see how to do that. It works your glutes and your core at once, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's called ass burner for a reason. So I typically walk about 10,000 steps a day, but it's been freezing and icy here in VA, so I haven't been as consistent over the last 2 weeks. So the best workout is the one that you'll do. I don't think that there is one. I do believe, I'm a big believer in walking because it is a natural movement for our bodies. It is what our bodies, and set back to that, ancestral health. It's what our bodies are designed to do. They're designed to walk and to occasionally sprint. Our bodies aren't really designed to run long distances. There really is not much evidence of that happening ever in history. It was, we walked or we sprinted to get away from something. So I am big on walking, and I encourage everybody to do that. And it doesn't need to be that you need to go out and walk 5 miles at a time. It means parking further away when you go to the grocery store. It means doing an extra lap around Target when you go shopping. It means walking while you're on the phone. I'll walk up and down the steps of my house while I'm talking to someone on the phone. Why am I sitting? Let's get up and move. So it doesn't, yes, I love to get outside in nature and walk. That is even more benefits. But by using like just the pedometer app on your phone or something like that, and you start tracking your steps, it motivates you, and it gets exciting to see, oh, I'm so close to 10,000. And now recently I'm doing a small group coaching program right now, which I'll be doing again. It's called Next Level You. And it's geared towards weight loss. It's working with women. Like everyone in my group is like in their 50s, it's around like 40s, 50s, focused on weight loss, but just on energy, vitality, feeling really good. So we were talking about the walking, and one woman changed the app on her phone, said it set 7,500 steps as the goal, because she knew she wasn't going to hit 10,000. So it doesn't feel good to see yourself not hitting the goal. So I said, that's brilliant. Set a goal that you can feel good about. And then maybe in a few weeks or a few months, she'll change that to 10,000. But this is working for her. Like, do what works. Path of least resistance. It's like, let's do what we can do. And that's another reason why walking is great, because you don't really need any special equipment, So like, let's do what you can do, and let's start there. People are spending all this time researching the perfect workout, but in the meantime, they're sitting there on their phone or on their laptop trying to figure it out. Just get up and move. And that's better than sitting there.
Exactly. Like, so, I find that the theme of your message is making it simple. Making it simple, yet, still being accountable, right? Like, again, we can't live in a fog and just think, oh, I'm just going to make it simple. I'm just going to eat wholesome food, and I'm going to move a little bit, but I'm not going to ever, look at what I'm eating or weigh myself. I mean, you need some sort of accountability.
Absolutely.
As well. So, what do you think about supplements? I mean, you mentioned collagen. Like, how about again, you can get too, it's overwhelming. It's like, okay, they're talking about macros. They're talking about, oh, did I have enough fiber?
It's too much. It's too much. So I'm not anti-supplement by any means. And there are some good ones out there. I think it's super individual for most people. I'm big on the collagen. That's just a game changer for everybody. Another, certainly there's some good multivitamins out there that can fill in the gaps by all means. Another supplement though that I really encourage for everybody, because we tend to be so deficient in it, is magnesium. So magnesium is the one mineral that is just not stable in our bodies. So other minerals tend to build up a little bit more. Magnesium, our bodies have a harder time hanging on to. It's not stable. Typically, we don't get enough of it from our food. And magnesium is an important cofactor in so many, over 300 functions in our body. But it's one of the biggest game changers that when I first started talking about this, so many women said it changed the game for them. It also helps keep you regular. So a lot of women just are suffering from bloating, and honestly, they're just constipated.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the things. So magnesium when you travel, game changer, game changer. But it helps with sleep. It helps with muscle relaxation. It helps with stress. So I take magnesium before I go to bed. I'm not a great sleeper. That is my health challenge. That's something that I'm always, working on and working to optimize. And magnesium is another supplement that I just kind of recommend across the board. I don't like to make blanket recommendations for supplements because I don't think it's responsible.
No,
but I do believe that I can openly say people would benefit from collagen and magnesium. I don't feel, I know that everybody's
exactly. And how about like a certain type of magnesium is citrate?
So the citrate can be the most uncomfortable for your digestion. It can almost be a little too much. I use one, the brand that I buy, again, no affiliation with this brand. The brand of magnesium I've been using is Life Extension. And I take their 500 milligram capsules. I take 2 of them at night, and it's a blend of 3 different types. I know citrate, glycinate, and one other that off the top of my head, I can't remember, but think about that blend.
Yep.
Makes it, I feel like you're covering all the bases.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So let's, morning habits. So
I am big on morning routines.
Okay.
And rituals, habits, whatever we want to call it, whatever feels good, whatever feels good. But I just believe that this is how you set the tone for your day. Like you wake up with a clean slate. So even with the mindset stuff and everything, it's like everything slows down at night. So when you wake up, starting off on a positive note, my biggest thing is do not pick up. I'll pick up my phone to see to turn off the alarm.
Right.
Do not open up any apps. So do not look at social media, news, emails, texts. Do not look. Fill yourself up first. I always like to say another little catch line I have is connect before you consume. So connect with yourself or, your own well-being. Yeah. God, angels, universe, connect with all the good stuff before you connect with everything else. Because that stuff gets so distracting. So everybody can, there's different ways. It's not that there's one perfect routine. Again, the perfect routine is the one that you do, that works for you.
Yes, exactly.
But for me, first thing, I'll hop out of bed and turn on my coffee maker. And so I have my coffee with collagen. I take my little dog out for a walk. It's quiet. It's still dark. A lot of times I'll listen to an Abraham Hicks recording on YouTube while I'm walking, just filling my brain with something positive. And I really love their message. So then I come back, I finish my coffee. I go back upstairs, actually sit in bed. There's no way I'll fall back asleep. So I can snuggle with my dog. I get out my journal and do my journaling, and then I've started doing just a silent meditation. Again, this is what works for me. For other people, it might be the walk, the exercise, whatever, but it's that doing these things for ourselves. Yes. And then I'll do a quick mini, really quick workout, 10 minutes or less. And then I'll hop in the shower and get dressed and ready for the day.
Beautiful. I love that. Okay. So, the skin, I just feel like we better talk about that because your skin is beautiful. So
thank you.
What do you do? What product? Not to say that we can maybe possibly get them internationally, but
some of them I believe you can, and I can drop some names.
Okay,
and
sure.
So first of all, again, the biggest thing was healing it from the inside out. And I, for several years, if somebody wanted to go spend almost nothing on their skincare, I will tell you, before I started dabbling in these really lovely skincare lines that have truly helped me for a while, because I just stopped wanting to put any chemicals on my face. I used coconut oil almost exclusively on my skin. Literally, I washed my face with it. I did something called the oil cleansing method, which sounds counterintuitive when you're acne prone, but it worked for me.
Okay.
I used it as a moisturizer, eye makeup remover, everything. And my skin was great. But then I wanted to do even more. So there's two brands, if you don't mind me mentioning brand names,
Not
that
at
I
all.
really like.
No.
And I do have like discount codes for the one, and so I love Alatura Naturals. This is started by the guy who started this company, is amazing, and he has quite a skin story of his own. Andy Anilo, his name is. But so Alatura Naturals, super, super clean ingredients. If somebody gets nothing else, their clay mask is like something magical. I've used so many clay masks over the years. A lot of them are really, heavy, and they kind of, they do suck impurities out of your skin. Bentonite clay is amazing, but it's not really nourishing your skin. This mask is a blend of clays along with crazy stuff like colostrum, pearl powder, things, and this super active vitamin C. So it comes as a powder. You mix it up fresh, put it on your skin, and it's so light and fluffy, it feels like you're frosting a cake. Feels like you're frosting a cake. And then when I rinse this off, I'll leave it on. So I'll wash my face. I'll leave this mask on for like 20 minutes, maybe while I'm doing my work, like my journaling and stuff. And then I rinse it off in the shower, and my skin just feels so soft and amazing. And if nothing else, like, I cannot recommend this mask enough. But since then, I've embraced, this company started with just this mask, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago or so. And now they really have a full line of skincare, from a pearl cleanser, an amazing serum that I love, really love all of their products. So that's one that I've been using and just absolutely in love with. And if people go to my Instagram page, I do have discount. I do have a discount code for Alatura. So, and links. So highly, highly recommend this company. Another natural brand that I really, really like, Anne Marie Skincare. Another one, and another one, just cleanest ingredients, nothing irritating, full line of everything from, cleansers, masks, serums, to help with every possible skincare issue you can think of. So that's another company. They've been around. I've tried just about everything, like stood the test of time, So, and I know there's other good brands out there, but these are two that I've used and loved and seen results on my skin.
Okay. That's perfect.
I just did that Alatura mask a few days ago, and I think it was, whichever day I did it, I got on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, and I was like, look at my skin, look at my skin. I just did this mask. So it's that good.
Wow. Okay. I'll definitely give that a try. Well, I think probably should let you go. It went so fast.
It went so fast. This has been so much fun.
Yes, exactly. And anything else you want to just leave the listeners with? Like a message?
Well, I would say, I guess my biggest message is keep it simple. If I had one nutritional message, it is this: prioritize protein and produce.
Oh, okay.
Prioritize protein and produce. Forget forget counting macros, forget eliminating anything. If you focus on protein and produce, you are getting, women, out of all the women that I've worked with, one of the who are wanting to lose weight, have more energy, better body composition, feel good. One of the biggest things I see when I say start writing down your food, let's look at what you're eating. They're not getting enough protein. Now, when I work with somebody one-on-one, I will talk about what an optimal amount of protein is for them, but I generally don't have them really track macros. We just look at what might this look like in a day. But protein is the most satiating of the macronutrients. So it's going to keep you full and satisfied. It's so important in maintaining our lean body mass. So especially as women are trying to lose weight, if they're not getting enough protein, they're going to lose that lean body tissue that they're trying to maintain. There's also, nobody really talks about this anymore. It's kind of an old school term, but like the thermic effect of protein, where our bodies actually do work a little harder to process it, which is, in turn burning more calories, but I don't really worry about that too much. It's more about the idea that it's satiating. It helps reduce cravings. That's another thing that I run into with women is cravings, emotional eating. Getting enough protein really helps with that. So And then after that, filling in with all the produce, like the good, fresh, all these sexy skin foods we were talking about,
Yeah.
the leafy greens, the berries, the fresh lemon. Yes, there's room for carbs in there. The sweet potatoes, the butternut squash, all of those things. I'm not saying eliminate carbs, but I do say cut the crappy carbs because we don't need, all of the white processed stuff. But I'm not saying cut out all carbs. Again, that's something that varies from individual to individual, but prioritize protein, cut the crappy carbs. Boom. It's so simple.
And so you say you would even prioritize protein over like vegetables? Or
no, prioritize protein and produce.
Okay, both.
Prioritize
equally.
Protein and produce.
Okay.
So as far as, again, if you just start there, things start to fall into place.
Okay.
And then you start listening to your body and you see, maybe for me, for example, I can't have too many cruciferous veggies. They kind of mess with my, digestion. Yeah. But again, these are individual things that you see once you start eating real food. And then you start seeing what's working for you, what's not working for you. But, as a rule, women need more protein.
Yeah.
And as a rule, most people could benefit from more produce as well. So just by prioritizing protein and produce, everything starts to fall into place. I know for myself, I'll notice some days I want more protein and less produce.
Yeah.
It kind of depends. Other days I'm wanting all the fruit, it just.
Yeah.
But I trust my body enough now. I've been listening to it long enough that I trust that it's telling me what it needs. But in the beginning, you don't listen to your body when it's telling you, Twinkies and Doritos. But as you get into the eating real food, your body's going to tell you what it needs more of.
Yes. And journal about
it. Journal, hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And really that's what coaching is all about, is it's another tool to stay accountable and somebody else to have a fresh set of eyes on what you're doing and saying, hey, I've had people say, can't you just put together a meal plan for me? Tell me what to eat. No, we're going to come up with tools that you can tell yourself what to eat. And yes, I do give lots of meal ideas in my group coaching program I'm doing right now. I give lots of meal ideas and fun recipes, but it's all for people to play around with and have fun with. It's not a prescription. You have to do this every day, because that doesn't work.
Right.
That does not work for people.
That's just so old school.
It's too structured, and then you mess up. And then, I talk with my hands so much. You mess up and you think you blew it. Instead, but just the accountability, write down what you're eating, see what's working, and, go from there.
So, great way to end, because for anybody out there who just feels like they need a little bit of a helping hand, some accountability partner, someone to guide them. I think Elizabeth is a great choice. You cover so many bases, the mindset, like you say, the movement and the nutrition. So
thank you.
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay. So we'll look forward to, to connecting with you and seeing what you all come up with in the future. Like you say, I got my goals set, and I got my attention. So
it's exciting. I have lots of big things coming up. So stay tuned. And we should. Great. Let's stay connected. Let's talk again.
We definitely will. Thanks so much, Elizabeth.
That sounds great. Thank you, Luelle. This was a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks once again for joining me on another great episode of I Think I Can podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe below so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And until next week, treat each day like it was your last, because each new day is a privilege that we shan't take for granted. Cheers and have a great week. Bye-bye.